we have a very dramatic change for you that we have to talk about. Me and you and Brittany Faith Turner in this episode. It's all about change, the perspective of change and the ripple effect and how it's most importantly going to impact your life. Episode 1, Season 6 of Broke to New Name Alert! We're back.
We're back.
Season 6. And I hope all of our listeners are ready of Broke to Awoke.
Awoke!
We said for 5 seasons, we ain't changing the name.
We aren't changing it.
And sometimes you have to change other people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to change other people's minds about things. And sometimes you have to change your mind about things.
And we, ladies and gentlemen, have changed our mind.
We did. We did. And
dang it.
What I saw firsthand was Brittany use technology to speed up the process. We have thought for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And we've gone back and forth. Should we not? If we do, what's it going to be called? I don't know. You didn't know. I didn't know. We didn't know. And then you busted out.
I took the time to describe it to people whenever they've asked me, like, what does that mean? I've said, it's going from a really broken mindset to truly awakened to your calling.
Yeah.
And today, it hit us like a lightning bolt.
Yeah. An actual lightning bolt.
Broke to Awoke.
That's it.
It embodies what we're going for even more and stays away from everything woke.
Yeah. Because that was a big challenge, right? That was a big strife.
Dang it.
And
Again, we were here first.
Yeah, we were. We were here first. We've been doing this for a long time. Because I told you how people would intro this podcast. The amazing thing is we feel so blessed, so humbled, blown away that the season 2 even happened.
Yeah.
We didn't know that season 1 anyone would listen. I remember you saying, are people even going to listen to this?
It has blown up internationally.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's so fun. It's just remarkable. But when people would introduce it, they would have to kind of like preface it.
Disclaimer.
They'd have to disclaim it.
No. You
Yeah.
have to put a disclaimer on the name. And so, anyway.
Sorry, fans.
We're bigger than that word.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fans that could see past it.
Yeah.
It was obviously trying to stand for something fun and rhymey. But we got a new name alert.
New name alert.
New name alert.
So season 6 of Broke to Awoke is here, ladies and gentlemen. And let's just reminisce for a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
How did this whole thing even start? I want to hear it from your perspective, and then I'll add in things.
I get asked this question all the time. And one day I'm up in my beautiful high tower, downtown Nashville, on a high rise overlooking the skyline and the river. And I was at my desk and my team knocked on the door and said, "You got to see this crazy weirdo." And I was like, "What?" They said, "This guy sent you this video on your Instagram. You got to look at this." And there's this kind of skinny dude with almost no beard. "Hey, Brittany Turner, it's Jeremy Alexander Newsome, and I want to hire you to be a speaker at my next event." You're walking through some alley. I don't even know where you were.
I was in Franklin.
But I was impressed. And I had just put on my vision board that I wanted to be doing more speaking events
Get out of here.
in the Caribbean.
Get out of here.
That's the only reason I said yes.
Whoa.
That was it. Now, that was right before, I feel like I almost said Y2K.
It was
The
right.
Y2K of travel, essentially.
For sure.
Which was the global shutdown of all things travel. And so that event that he invited me to got moved 4 times.
Yep.
And so it's destiny.
It was.
That we were supposed to meet. We had a lot of synergy, a lot of aligned values.
Yeah.
And now we have this podcast, of which you asked me to do. You gave me 2 names. And I just loved Broke to Woke because of what it would mean is really people waking up. And that's what we want to do with this podcast. The biggest frustrations in my life have gone from going all over the world and seeing horrific suffering.
Yeah.
Atrocities nobody should have to see. I mean, the things we even had come across our desk this week of the kind of cases that I'm dealing with, it shuts people down to even hear about them. But there are people living in this daily hell. And I'm seeing the people with the purpose, the access, the abundance, all the skills are choosing to eliminate themselves or spend their lives drifting or beating themselves up, believing that they are not the one or not good enough for whatever reason, when you truly do have the power to change the world and you are here for a reason. And we want to help wake you up to that calling because it's critical. And this is bigger than you. That's why I named everything Ariel in my life, was to remember this is bigger than me. I'm part of this beautiful divine plan. Yep. And so one of the hopes we have for this podcast, and we're so grateful that that's been our feedback, is that people have completely transformed their ways of thinking, learning from our painful lessons so that our ceiling can hopefully be their floor. Yep. And they can go to new heights and impact the world in ways that we could never even do because we've been spending all this time learning these lessons.
Yep.
And so it's doing its job. So thank you again for seeing what we really stood for. And what are you hoping happens with not only what we've done with this podcast, but what we hope to do this season, J Money?
You know, my goal in this season is I want personally to learn even more about you. I want you to learn more about me. I want to uncover beliefs and change mindsets from both our mindsets to things that we might not have talked about a bunch in the past, potentially. Spirituality, healing modalities.
That shirt you got on?
Can we talk about it for a second?
We have to.
This shirt. Thank you, my wife, for buying this shirt. This was a Father's Day present.
So cute.
And when I got it, I was like, oh yeah, it's awesome. So obviously it's the faces of my kids, the 3 boys, Gabriel, Jason, and Jerumi. And she just threw the faces on and there you go. Yeah. So I do wear this often. And what she has now learned is if she buys something as a joke for me to wear,
you're going to wear it all the time.
I wear it a lot. And she's bought a few things from the island where we have theme nights. And I will just wear those island topics in public.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So this is one of those shirts.
I've seen you wearing those. That was I thought for
I think
big money night.
Putting it on at all times.
So funny.
Yeah. I think really for season 6, which that's 6 years.
6 years.
Good bananas.
Magic.
Of absolute magic.
Straight gold.
Pure bars.
Genius.
Yes. And it's been different locations. We're at a different location again. We keep changing locations, which is fun because why not? Winners travel.
Winners travel, baby.
Losers stay home.
Right.
And what we're doing now is we're just shifting. And so this season, we're going to go very deep for our listeners. We're going to peel back certain layers. We're going to uncover certain truths. We're just going to talk about the newness in our lives, new things that we're learning. And most importantly, how we learn them. Because for every single one of our listeners, the how you learn something is probably more important than what you learned.
Yeah, really.
In education right now, kids are taught what they need to learn, not how to learn. And there's a big difference there. Because what someone needs to learn, you're being told. You're being told opinions, you're being told beliefs, you're being told stories, but you're not being challenged on why is this true? Why is this accurate? Just like the whole theme broke to woke, that word really just came with this resonance that we were unaware of at the time. There was so much shifting and animosity and culture changes and belief changes that we do not disagree with generally. And ultimately, I think the shift there again is that understanding of this is a way to learn. When you're being taught something and you never question it. This is it. I have just received information. This is the only way it is. If people start to realize that, all right, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to study how to learn, then I can learn anything. And I've seen you do this with not only real estate, but just all aspects of your life. Technology, your speaking has gotten better and better and better. Your physicality has gotten better. Your relationships have gotten better. And that's because you learn differently than most people. Because you start asking yourself at a very early age, how can I learn this better? How can I adapt faster? How can I shift quicker?
Shout out homeschooling.
Shout out Deb again.
Deb Turner.
My girl Deb, I love you.
Love you.
She's awesome. And yes, in homeschooling, she sat down, I think your mom, right? And said, okay, I need to teach these kids, these daughters, these amazing sons and daughters of mine, these 6 kids, good grief. How can this beautiful child learn differently than what people are learning now? And if that's the takeaway from a podcast, this is the whole goal of this podcast. Learn differently, ask different questions, study differently, think differently. And as you do that, you will begin to transcend. You'll begin to, if you're at a broke place in your life, you'll begin to become awakened. You'll learn new things, idolize new things, study new things, shift, hopefully grow, hopefully expand. My biggest fear for a long time was having people tell me, you changed.
Huh.
Because I didn't want them to view me differently. I didn't want people to look at me and go, oh, he's too good for me. Create this distance, create this separation. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that hopefully feel the same way, where like that was a fear at one point. But now if someone doesn't say you changed, I'm fearful.
Amen.
Right? Like,
Amen.
I don't want to be in the same place I was last year.
Right.
I don't want to have the same challenges and the same problems I had 3-4 years ago. I want them to be different.
Right.
And in order for it to be different, in order for your bank account to change, in order for your beliefs to change, your wealth to change, guess what has to change? You. And that was literally a fear of mine. And I stopped myself so much from changing because I was afraid of being called greedy. I was afraid of people saying, you think you're too good for us now. Generally family members, generally friends from the past, but
people you care about.
People I cared about. Right.
But that's perspective. Everything is perspective.
Correct.
Just again, why I named everything Ariel, to remind myself. Perspective affects your entire life experience. And we can go through the same thing, and I could view it as a blessing, and you could view it as the worst thing in the world, you know? And I actually think it comes from a caring and compassionate place to not want people to think you left them behind and that you're too arrogant to love them. But when you actually are in a progressive circle of people who want to do more with their life so that they can truly give back and absolutely love people and help elevate everybody around you, and or be able to take care of your family if you had to, the world's coming to an end. It's another way to think about growth. It's another way to think about your expansion. And so we want you to, as usual, be coming up with definitions for yourself.
Yeah.
What does you changed mean to you? Does it mean you turned into something bad automatically? Why would you changing mean you turned into something bad versus you changed into somebody so much better? I had one of our heroes message me last night, and he said, I've changed so much. I'm giving from such a place. My cup is overflowing. He was just in tears telling me how much impact he's having. Speaking to some other people yesterday, he really helped two people with some amazing release from some trauma they experienced as children. And I said, it's who you've always been. But I believe as we learn, as we immerse ourselves in safe environments for growth, then we actually allow our soul to come out even more. The essence of who we've always been and the knowledge of all of the things can be released, and we can give at a different level of ourselves because we feel safe enough to be that vulnerable person. And we feel strong enough to be able to be a vulnerable person, even around people that might reject us or might try to hurt us, because we know they can't really take anything away from us. That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. What's the quote? There's no need to fear the enemy outside if the enemy within can do no harm.
Ooh.
Right? It's a Chinese proverb, I think.
Oh, man.
So essentially, the reason that we're talking about change is we had to change the name of this podcast.
We got to change.
We changed.
We chose.
We chose. It was an opportunity. But Brittany, that's the thing. There's so many times and circumstances where people will not change. They won't change their environment. They won't change what they believe. They will not change their habits, their daily rituals. They will continue to be stuck and ask themselves, why am I not getting something in life that I want? If you want something you've never had, # you have to do something you've never done. And that can be all kinds of topics. That can be all types of investments. That can be all types of beliefs. That can be different foods. That can be things that you drink. Meaning, like if you drink a bunch of alcohol, booze, and beer, I probably know how you look. I probably know how you act. I probably know your faults in life. But if you drink a bunch of water, you're super healthy. If you eat certain ways, I probably know your habits. I probably know your bank account. And again, the awareness is the opportunity, the choosing to change is what causes most people to get stuck, is just that fear of stepping into that unknown and going, if I change, how are people going to view me? If we change this podcast name, how are people going to view us? Are people going to say that we're cowards? Are people going to say that we're dumb? Are people going to say that politically you're making a bad choice? Are people going to say you're choosing one side versus the other side? Are people going to make fun of us? Maybe, maybe not. But here's the best news. Me and Brittany are doing this podcast for us.
And we're doing it for free. So we get to say, which is fun. There's complications to every change. You know, we were assessing what are the complications. Will the podcast show up with a previous episode? It's more work. It's not a 5-minute change. So what? You have to just know that there are consequences to every action and every inaction.
Oh, shoot.
There are real consequences to every action and every inaction. And that's one of the ways that I like to peer pressure myself into doing the things that, again, my soul knows I came here to do, and to try to release myself from peer pressure of what people will think of me, and try to really listen to what is God going to think of me is what happens if I don't. And I try to make it really dramatic. And you can make it really dramatic because
I like this exercise at abundance. This is always a fun one.
Because of the ripple effect.
Yeah.
The ripple effect. This might happen year 1, not that big of a deal, but add 1,000 years to me having not done that. What's the ripple effect on the planet if I chose to stay in a space of fear versus a place of faith? We are in a place of faith saying we would like to define more of what we're going for. Yeah. Even clearer.
Yes, even clearer. This is an evolution. Clearer. It's a shift.
And this is who we are. We're always shifting. And some advice for my people who have lived in fear in the past is ask yourself, what are the consequences long term if I do this or if I don't do this? And to start defining yourself, speaking over yourself, I'm a hyper-growth person. I change all the time. I change whatever I want, whenever I want, because I can. Why would I be stuck according to something I did yesterday with less information?
Yes.
I've got more information today. We have AI, people.
Oh my goodness.
We have AI.
Oh my goodness.
Since last year.
Wow.
The world has transformed.
And 3 years from now, it's going to be so crazy different.
I'm 3 times the business person I was. I can get so much more done.
Eight. Can you imagine 8 years from now?
No.
It's probably going to be another podcast if I had to guess. Probably another episode of season 6.
It won't even be us. It'll be the robots of us.
It'll be robots that look like us.
Yeah.
Calvin, start working on that, please.
Calvin?
Just download. Yeah, thank you. Just make versions of us.
No wrinkles.
That'd be nice. Yeah, no wrinkles. No gray.
A little less gray on him.
Can we stop the graying? Would be fantastic.
He's graying like wildfire. My gosh.
Here's what you all need to do. For all the listeners, just go back and just watch the grayness take over.
Per kid, how much grayer J Money's beard is getting. Meanwhile, I haven't grayed at all.
No, it's crazy. It's amazing.
In the next episode, I am so excited to hear you share with our listeners what your biggest wins were over the last year, because I have some pretty cool ones to share myself. We will see you next episode. If you have been inspired by what you've heard with our Heal the Heroes program, and you know a hero in need. Hero is either a veteran of the military or the first responder community, police, fire, EMS, you name it. We would love to pour back into them. If what they need is purpose, that is what we give. We remind them of who they are and who they're called to be. We give them incredible resources. Go to aerialrecovery.org and either sponsor or nominate a hero today.